Bob here, Chopper Bob Customs. I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. I've been working, been doing some work on Uncle Dirtbag's 60 Chevy. I actually shot some video on it, and then I realized that the video I shot probably didn't deserve to be posted, so I've got the right side of the truck done. I'm going to be doing the left side of the truck, and I'll be posting video on that. Seeing one side of the truck, you see both sides of the truck. Replacing the floors, the rocker panels, door bottoms on it, building some toe board replacement panels. So I'll be getting that posted here before too long. Listen, subscribe to my videos, please. If you got any comments, I'd love to hear from you. Like the videos, share them with your friends. And as I get into the winter months, my postings will probably become more irregular. So hit that notification bell so you know when a new video has been posted. Today, my compressor's down. I'm going to be going down later today and getting the parts for it and getting it back up online. That's been another reason why things have been rather erratic here at the shop. But today, I thought I would do just a little bit of work on the Bantam altered. I kind of left you on that since this isn't a customer's car. This is actually my car. It only gets worked on when it gets worked on. So at any rate, what I'm going to be doing today is getting the aluminum panel cut out and formed, at least for the top section. At least I hope I get it done today. Well, this video, it'll all be on the video whenever I get it posted. And if I get it done today and get it posted, I'll probably also have a video on the air compressor repair. So it's quite possible that you've gone for a while without seeing a video, and now you'll see a whole bunch of them. But basically what I've already done on this is I've got the body where I want it. I had to, it originally had a receiver on the other side for a tow rope where you just slide it down into the receiver. I went ahead and just cut it off. I'm not sure whether I'm going to weld it back on or not, but to get the body down where I wanted it, I had to do that. And then I tried to position it best I could to get the rear wheel openings close to being right. And what I ended up with was the cowl obviously was not long enough, in part because this is designed as a funny car. It was not designed as an altered. And then this body has been so heavily modified. The one thing that I did run into with this was, if this were a show car, I probably would have spent more time making this a flowing curve into the firewall. But since it really just needs to look good from the stands, and even if I do put it in a car show, it does have some roughness to it. We'll probably not have to worry that much about it. So, but I didn't want this body line in here. I'm going to build this cowl extension in 3 pieces. I'm going to have the piece up here at the top, which will have these body lines in it, and then I'll have a panel that'll go down both sides, attaching to the body and then attaching to the original tin work on the car. I may or may not put a body line down at the bottom. I'm still debating on that. These side panels will probably just be pretty much plain panels. I might put a little bit of bead in it just to make sure that they're rigid and they don't flap. But let's get started on this. The first thing that I'm going to do, and let's see if I can get this positioned so it's in the center. You won't see me, but you'll see it. The first thing I'm going to do, I've come in and I've put a mark as close as I can to the center of the body, and I put a mark at the center of the firewall. That's another thing about this that you got to understand. This frame is over 50 years old, and it was originally built as a funny car, so it's been modified through time. It's had a different roll cage put in, I'm sure, and of course, whenever you do that type of thing, stuff moves around. And then this body was originally chopped up to put on an altered, and then it was stored improperly for years. So nothing on the car is going to be able to, you're not going to be able to put a square on anything on this car and have it square. But what we're trying to do now is just make the appearance as good as possible given what we've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a line. I need to get a different marker. Let's see if this one's any better. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. Down the center line of this, from the center line of the firewall to the center line of the body. And then I'm going to put some witness marks on it. So I do have a witness mark here at the center line and at the center line, but I'm also going to put a few more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch tape across the body and across the paper. Now this paper is just masking paper. Just something that I can make a template for to lay out on the aluminum. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw along both of those so that when I cut it, I'll have the tape and the marker line to show me where the witness marks are. So when I go to fit the aluminum to the car, I'll have it in the right spot. And I'm using some older tape to do this, and it's showing its age, but there's no sense using high dollar stuff for what I'm doing here. Okay, so now with that done, I'll go ahead and cut through those pieces of tape that I just put on there so that one stays with the body and one stays with the template. Now the rest of the tape I'm going to leave on there because if I was going to be putting a steel panel in there, I could use magnets to hold this template down to the metal. But since it's aluminum, I'm going to have to go ahead and lay it out with holding it down with tape to make sure that I've got it in the right place. And we'll get to that in a second. What I'll do is I'm going to pause and get this set up, and we'll get to the laying out and cutting. One thing that occupied some time was we did the Guthrie Road celebration. Had the Diamond R Racing Custom Autos by Tim funny car there. Had my 41 Chevy there. Another member of the team had his 70 Caprice there. Custom Autos by Tim brought some of their vehicles and displayed them. We had the 58 Delray was there. Had a good time. Of course, that does take some time out of the schedule. One thing about it though, Tim's Body Works in Guthrie puts on a great show. The Flashbacks did it for years. The Flashbacks did a great job, but they got to the point where they didn't want to do it anymore, and Tim's Body Works picked up the gauntlet and started doing it, and had a great time. I think there were 300 cars there. Great show right here in Guthrie at Mineral Wells Park. We get a goodies bag, and the folks at O'Reilly's always put some really great stuff in there. And one of the things they gave us this year was these headlights. And it's got a high beam, it's got a low beam, and then for you disco folks, it's got a strobe light. So this was really a nice addition to the goodie bag that we got this year. I wanted to put a plug in for Tim's Body Works. They don't pay me anything, but they do put on a good show. And if you're in Guthrie area for the road celebration next year, I would encourage you going. And thanks for the folks at Guthrie O'Reilly's for putting some neat stuff in the goodie bags, and all the folks that put stuff in the goodie bags. This was just one that caught my eye, something that you guys might like to see. Anyway, so now I got a headlight. Anyway, so I've got the template taped down, and now it's just a matter of putting the witness marks on it and getting it lined out. So we'll get started on that right now. Okay, so there I've got it laid out, and now I get to cut it, and I'm probably going to make just a little bit of a change right in here. Smooth this out just a little bit. Doesn't quite match side to side, but I've got my brake lines put in and I've got my cut lines put in, and so let me get set up and I will do the cutting. All right, I'm not sure how well this stuff is going to cut, but here we go. Okay. All right, so what I've done is I've put a couple of 30-degree brakes in this part right here, getting it ready to roll into that body line. I wanted to do that on one side, make sure it was going to work, and make sure that I didn't shift too far to the other side, that the other side won't work. So I'm going to basically get this side done. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to lay out, there's a body line, a bead, that rolls right through here in the cowl. And what I want to do is I want to put a similar bead in this area right here to kind of mimic it. Probably not as large, but what I've done is I've gone ahead and kind of lined it up. And I may have to tape it, but we'll see how this goes. I've lined the center line up on the firewall and on the cowl. And what I'm going to do now is, if it'll work, I'm going to go ahead and lay out on that body line. Let's do this way. And 6 looks like a good number to be at. Pre-stretch it just by lightly rolling it through the wheel on the line, just like I said, to get a stretch in there so that when I go to bead roll it, it's not going to gather it. This will also give the panel a little bit of body. That did give it a little bit of there's a bump there, so that when I go ahead and roll the bead on it, it'll pull that together and it won't suck in the panel from either side. That's the plan anyway. So let me get the bead roller set up. Okay, I could have gone smaller, a lot smaller, or ridiculously smaller. And what I decided to do was go a lot smaller. Because basically I just want this to give a hint that it's supposed to be on the car. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this in here and get it started. And usually what I try to do is go about 3 turns once I made contact. But that's on steel. This is aluminum, it's softer, and I don't want it to be as pronounced. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go 1.5 and see how that looks. Now, let's see, I've got it set up to go. There we go. It shrunk it a little bit more, but basically it put a little bit of a drop in here. This is going to be great. If this were a show car, I'd probably go ahead and do a little bit of finishing on the ends. But as it is, this is going to put a nice body line in it, give it some rigidity, and that's what we're going for. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm getting it lined up so that the and I'm going ahead and putting some Clecos in. Now I don't have 3/16 Clecos, and eventually this is going to have 3/16 inch large head pop rivets in it. But what I can always increase the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and mimic this, and these were on about 3-inch centers. And so I'm going to come over here about 9 inches and put the next one in right there. In order to keep it from damaging the back side of the fiberglass, I'm using 1/8-inch backup washers. Okay, so I forgot to turn the camera on, but what I've done is I've gone ahead and put some Zeus fasteners across the top here. I've got a I'm sorry, I've got some Clecos across the top here. I've got a Zeus fastener where the original cover had a Zeus fastener holding it in place, and I've rolled this edge down to where it nearly matches the body and the firewall. So what I've got to do now is finish this up and then go work on the other side. And I think probably one thing I'm going to do right off the bat before I go too far is relieve that hole where the Zeus fastener is so that it does not bow in like that. Let me see what I can do on that. It's a new day. Got a little cool in Chopper Bob land. Work continues on getting this extension done on the cowl. I've had a little bit of time to think about what I'm doing here. And so one of the first things we're going to do is do a little tweaking on these Zeus fastener mounts. I'm going to see, because it's kind of sucking it down, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock these, see if I can't get these to bend up a little bit. That sucks it down a lot less there. So now we can go see what's going on the other side. Go over to the break and I'll be right back. gets the top panel done up. I mean, I put a little bit of shrink in here and a little bit in here. I may do a little bit more shrinking right in here and right here. Or what I may do is put a couple of Zeus fasteners in here. That might not be a bad idea anyway. I may do a little bit of shrinking here and there. Shrinking does mar the surface, but I'm not going to polish this. I'm going to scuff it up and I'm going to put primer on it. And basically what I'll have to do is I'll probably have to shoot some, I may have to shoot a little high build in the shrink areas. And then wet sand it out flat so that I've got a good fill. I mean, it's got some waves in it, but basically it's an aluminum panel on a race car. So, you know, it's not necessarily going to be straight, but it's really very close, and I like the looks of it. I mean, this is really going to look sharp in my opinion. Put in the comments what you think. Let me know. And probably the next time what I'm going to be doing is building the side panels, which shouldn't take a whole lot of time. And so probably the other thing I'll do in the next video is I'll probably finish up this opening in the tonneau cover and maybe get the gauges and the switch panel mounted. But we're coming right along with this. So again, subscribe to the videos, tell your friends about them, like, comment, and hit that notification button because, like I said, I've been just a little bit lax on getting stuff done. Chances are very good you're going to get two for today. So at any rate, thanks for watching Chopper Bob, and see you next time.